ESPN and the Professional Bowlers Association present the championship round finals of the $140,000 Rochester Open. For the second straight year, Marc McDowell has led the field here in Rochester, and with a win in tonight's title match would become the new front-runner in the 1992 PBA Player of the Year race. Welcome to Marcel's Olympic Bowl, located in Rochester, New York. Good evening, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, along with PBA Hall of Famer Mike Durbin. And Mike, just 3 weeks left in terms of voting for the PBA Player of the Year. Marc McDowell is one of the guys that's involved in the race. He's our top seed tonight. If he wins, does he become the new front runner?
Danny, I really don't know if I can answer that question, whether he would become the front runner. He would have 3 titles and Ty Parker Bone. No matter what he does tonight, he's going to be our leading money winner. I think he absolutely must win to have a chance because he's behind Dave Ferraro in championship round appearances. He's behind in average. He's behind in match play appearances, and he's behind in cashes. And believe me, Denny, the voters look at all those categories.
Billy Oakes, the only non-winner on the telecast, almost won earlier this summer in Green Bay. He is qualified number 2.
And he had to win his final match last night in order to qualify number 2. In fact, he needed a mark in the 10th frame. Very exciting. He's an emotional player. Won 3 matches earlier in Green Bay. He's looking for that first title tonight and needs to win twice to get it. Michael, most players on the PBA Tour would be thrilled to win $100,000 in a tournament. Yet it's been a bit of a down year for our number 3 qualifier, Amleto Monacelli. It's hard to imagine him having a down year, but he seems to just kind of glide along and glide along. He's such a great player. He's made over $100,000 this year. He's won 12 titles, looking for victory number 13. Really, as great a player as he is, he's kind of a sleeper in the middle of the pack tonight, but look out for him. Mike, our number 4 qualifier, Randy Pedersen, is on the comeback trail. It's his first championship round appearance in nearly 2 years. Yeah, and the reason for that is he had a knee operation. He had the knee operated on in 1990. The rehabilitation didn't go as he had hoped, and the knee hurt him. And it cut down on his knee bend on his next to last step on the right foot, and that affected his game. A few weeks ago, he went to a different doctor, got some new medication. The pain has been gone. The bowling has been better. I know throughout your career you made some major league runs on the final day of match play because there's 16 games. Walter Ray Williams started in 20th place yesterday morning, and he ends up number 5. You know, Dan, going into that last day, my view was always, that we have almost a full qualifying round left. 16 games, and that was Walter Ray's view going in. Never panicked, got something going, moved straight up the ladder, and qualified that last game. Marc McDowell tries to win here after leading the tournament a year ago and losing. Of course, should he win, he'd collect a check worth $23,000. We're ready for start of match number 1 here in Rochester, and that will feature Walter Ray Williams and also Randy Pedersen. All right, Walter Ray made the big-time run yesterday and finds himself in the number 5 position. 2 very experienced players here, Dan. One with 6 titles, the other with 8. Neither one of them are going to give this match away. Walter Ray playing perhaps a little further inside, Mike, than he did when he made the dash yesterday. And Randy playing further inside than anybody on tonight's telecast, but boy, was he striking in practice. See how far left he's standing, right up against the ball return. Of course, he's going to send it a long way right, as all of these players, it seems like, do nowadays. It's just great to see him back in the championship round, back competing on the national tour. It's been a long 2 years for him. Did you see how he stretched out on his left knee on that shot, Dan, and put weight on it at the end? That's what he couldn't do before. It was the left knee that was operated on. Now watch Randy's style. 5-step, and he pushes it out. Nice free swing. Look at the high backswing. Now he bends that knee. Now look at that left knee right there. He's got weight on it, and there's no flinch. He holds the weight on it. He couldn't do that before. And of course, for a number of years, probably had the deepest knee bend of a player his size on the national tour. Looking for a double to open up an early lead. And Peterson comes out quickly and goes back. See how live that ball was, Dan? Hit half pocket and just snapped him out of there. Walter Ray averaged .213 on the championship round pair. Has earned a little better than $60,000 this year. Tries to go high and tight, and normally when he starts tripping that 4, that's when he becomes a very dangerous player. Kind of like Billy Hardwick used to do years ago.
Won't see Walter Ray out of the pocket very much. A little high, maybe a little light in the pocket, but he normally hits the 1-3 with regularity.
And normally with regularity never misses spares. Walter Ray with that unique style at the back of the approach, 5 steps. Now watch the arm swing. The right arm goes out away from the body. Now the left arm comes back in, and the right arm does. They're both inside as he lets the ball go. It's really a unique style.
Doesn't get the carry this time, playing a little more direct route than is Randy Pedersen.
And that's the difference between the power in the two styles. Randy hit that same hit and snapped that 10 right out of there without hesitation. Walter leaves it. I can identify with that.
I think tonight, Mike, when you look at the 5 players on the telecast, we have a smattering of different types of players who have qualified for the final 5.
And they're all playing different angles. Walter Ray's playing close to the second arrow. Randy's playing inside. Billy Oakes, in practice, was playing right out on the edge. Marc McDowell kind of in between there. And Amleto, as always, just circling the devil out of it. So I think that's kind of a tribute to the PBA lane maintenance program, and all these different styles and angles are being used on tonight's telecast.
Randy Pedersen backs off the approach. And one of the spectators to his left disrupted his concentration, so he stepped back. Trying for 3 in a row. Light shaker, and doesn't quite get the job done.
Almost. That's really hard when you back off like that and get your concentration disrupted to step back up and regroup and make a quality shot. He did that, but it just wasn't as pure as it might have been. He's switching balls to shoot the spare, too. Both players using 2 different balls, 1 for strikes, 1 for spare. Hard and straight.
Spare up for Randy Pedersen. I had a chance to chat with him about the long 2 years and about the comeback this week.
Well, my rehab took a lot longer than expected, and I think the hardest thing for me was sitting at home wondering if I'd ever be out here again. And, you know, the biggest thing was just basically being one of the guys, just being with the guys that you live with day in and day out for 30 weeks a year out here. I think that's the part I miss the most.
He's a social person.
To say the least. Comes off his hand nicely, and again, you're right, like a middle pocket type hit from the inside, and the 10-pin never had a second thought about standing.
Right. When you see that, Dan, that just indicates the release of the bowler, how alive the ball is when it hits the pins.
Walter Ray down by 10. Trying to cut into the deficit. Leaves a soft 10-pin on lane 34.
He's kind of caught in between there. That's the adjustment for the 4-pin that he left in the second frame back here. Probably moved a half a board left or something of that nature. What that does, Dan, is it makes you start squeezing because you don't have the wide pocket to carry, so you instinctively try and stuff it in there. Here we get a look at Walter Ray. Maybe the most accurate bowler in bowling today, but watch the ball deflect. Goes to the right, and the 6-pin just lays there. Halfway up on the 10, but not enough to get it over.
Ooh, for a moment the 7-pin stood. Was that the 4-pin that climbed up the ladder?
I think it was the 2.
Ooh. Got a break.
Well, it should have gone the first time.
No
when
kidding.
you stuff it like that, it's supposed to fall over, Dan.
It looks like to me he's obviously more comfortable on 33 than on 34.
Yeah, on 34, I think it hooks slightly more for him, so he has to open up just a little bit. And he's sending it out.
Solid 10. Nice, crisp, professional shot. Just didn't finish in a strike.
All you do is pick up the other ball, shoot the 10-pin, and knock it over. Putting a piece of tape in his spare ball. He must not like the way he shot the 7-pin. I always wonder when a bowler does that, you know, if he has a question mark in his mind whether it's going to be too tight. I mean, he didn't take a practice swing or anything.
Pops out. Right at the 10 pin. So Randy Pedersen maintains his lead of 11 pins as he heads now into the 6th.
No doubt in his mind on that shot. A very aggressive shot at the 10 pin. He's asking for a re-rack on lane 33.
8 professional titles, but it's been 2 years. His last victory in Grand Prairie, Texas during the Winter Tour of 1990.
Not because he can't bowl, but because he was injured.
You're not kidding. He really genuinely is thrilled, I think, to be back on the tour and at least near 100%. Another real good shot. So he's got the angle and the shot for the pocket. Now it's, I guess, like any other game, Michael. You're trying to carry a few strikes to get that momentum.
But something happened in his attitude with that shot. Then he turned around and looked at his wife. I mean, and I don't like to see that, because what's going through his mind is all the bad breaks are coming again, or something of that nature, something negative. I mean, he just looked a little negative on that shot rather than positive.
Two for two at the 10 pin. So we'll take a break here from Marcel's Olympic Bowl in Rochester. And as we leave you, a quick look at the gentlemen that are leading. Keep in mind, if Marc McDowell wins, he adds 23,000 and moves into first place.
1, 2, 3, 4. Shot in the heart.
This is a game like no other. It's a game that never stops rocking. And you can rock right along with pro football's best in this incredible new video, NFL Rocks. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the best way to get inside the action for over 20 million readers. Call this toll-free number now and enjoy great NFL action set to the music of some of rock's top artists. And get 54 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. SI and the free video make great gifts. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Enjoy the thrills of the NFL set to the music of the ages. And every week, enjoy Sports Illustrated. Call now.
And while we were away, this was a beautiful shot in the 7th frame.
Walter in the 6th frame had left the 4 pin. This ball hits half pocket, snaps the 10 out. He's got more confidence on lane 33 than 34.
Well, he struck 3 out of 4 shots on the left-hand lane. He's hit the pocket all 3 times on the right-hand lane. Meanwhile, Randy Pedersen trying to get something started again. This time, he carries the strike on lane 34.
That ball just looked like just maybe a mile-per-hour slower speed and finished solid. He just looked more relaxed as he stroked that one. Of course, it's always easier when you're not on the strike.
You have to wonder, after the 2-year layoff, what's going through his mind in the championship round. The other thing you have to consider is he has one of the all-time best winning percentages in the championship round. Randy comes into this 20-7 in his career.
And I think he's the only one on the telecast right now that has a winning record in the championship round.
I think you're exactly right. Good free arm swing. And Peterson with a clutch double. And he's trying to extend the lead. However, Walter Ray is on a strike in the 7th.
And Walter has to get something going this frame right now. He's fallen 20 behind. And now needs to cut into that deficit right now.
A little more room. And now that was like a half hit. Well, a little popcorn shot, and Walter Ray finally gets the X on the right-hand lane.
Well, it was the swish hit there. He got away from the half-10 hit. Went a little wider, comes in behind. Now he circled a little bit with this rather than going so straight. And boy, see how the 6 and the 10 just kind of slid off to the right, the 5 went left? Almost like a can opener shot. Now he's going to his good lane, and a strike here evens the match and sets him up for the 10th frame.
That certainly was no surprise.
I think the viewers watching this match, Dan, get an appreciation of how tough it is out here, because these guys respond like this all the time.
Walter Ray enjoying the competition.
So is Randy. I'm telling you, they're both enjoying this competition.
Randy with a re-rack on lane 34.
He's out of racks now. That's 2. Very little time. Stroked it pretty. Boy, I tell you, you can't throw it any better than that.
Randy Pedersen still mentioning the fact that there is a spectator.
Somebody is moving every time he throws the ball is what he's saying.
Right.
If I could read lips somewhat there. I'm not as good at it as Vince Scully, but I was reading some of those comments there.
Randy's in the position now, though, Mike, where he can really apply the tourniquet if he could throw 3 more.
2 more and it wins it. Up by 10. This makes it 20.
About as good as you can throw it. And Becky says, well, Randall, you threw it as good as you could. It didn't carry. Now we have to sit back and hope for the best.
It was like he expected it to stand. You see his body reaction at the end? He expected that 10 pin to stand. We could have a tie in this. Needs to make this, obviously.
Looks a little down in terms of the body language, as you mentioned.
Well, he knows he can lose now. I mean, his fate was in his hands, and suddenly it wasn't. Good follow-through, right straight up. Watch the 6. Whistle right around that 10. He needs to strike here to make Walter Ray get 2.
Key shot for Randy Pedersen, a little more room, and this one overreacts, and he 4-9s it. Game of 225 for Randy Pedersen, but it may not be enough to get the job done.
So Walter must strike here on a lane he's only had 1 strike on, and so far in this match, no one has missed the pocket.
Lots of speed.
Until now. And Randy Pedersen moves on.
Walter Ray Williams going for the gusto, tried to, I think, increase the speed and really knife it in there, throw the frozen rope, and got a little bit of an overreaction.
Well, you know, he has the reputation of being a great clutch bowler and had the opportunity there, and the bottom line is he didn't get the job done.
Randy Pedersen breathes a sigh of relief. The comeback continues here in Rochester. The championship round finals of the Rochester Open are being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers with that fresh, pure, natural taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
What we need in Harrisburg is someone who understands the importance of small business in creating jobs for Pennsylvanians. That someone is Richard Clark. Richard Clark is the president of the union representing my company's employees. He knows that business, labor, and government must work together in order to create more job opportunities. We need that kind of leadership in Harrisburg. That's why I'm proud to support Richard Clark for state representative.
Richard Clark, a working man for working people, paid for by Citizens for Clark. Jeff Lamparter, treasurer.
Drop into a Dodge dealer now, and you can get a Ram 150 pickup with over $2,600 in package savings, plus $1,500 cash back. Or get a Cummins diesel and get $500 cash back. $500. That's something Dodge hardly ever drops on diesel pickups. It's the National Dodge Truck Sale. Now arriving at a Dodge dealer near you.
Tonight's average builder is geared primarily to the higher average bowler, but I think it can be beneficial to all of us. And what it's about is that it's an alignment system that teaches us that no matter what our target is out on the lane, where to stand to hit that target back here on the approach. Here's the way that it works. Let's pick out a very favorite target that many of us aim at, the second arrow. Now, the second arrow is the 10th board. Now, let's suppose that I want to set my ball down on the 12th board and have it go to the second arrow, what they call a 2-board head belly. Pretty shallow by today's standards. The question is, where do I stand back here to make that come out right on the lane? And here's the formula. We take that touchdown point, which is the 12th board, and we add to it the difference or the distance between the ball and my ankle right here, which for most of us is 6 boards. With some of us, it's 7 boards. So it would be 12 plus 6 plus whatever my head belly is, which in this case is 2 boards. So it's 12 plus 6 plus 2, which makes 20. And the reference point that we use is the inside edge of the left foot that will work for most of us on 20. Now let's take another angle, one that I think we may see on tonight's telecast, and that's an angle outside the first arrow. This time I'm going to set the ball down on the 5th board, and I want it to go to the 2nd board down the lane. And you see there's the touchdown point, 5. That means that I need to slide on 11. Now I'm using the right side of that circle on 11 there. So here's the formula. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus the 3-board head belly is 14. So I'm going to start with the inside edge of my left foot here on 14, slide 11 there, hit 5, and hopefully hit 2 at the arrows. I threw a shot earlier, and let's take a look at it and see how it came out. There we see my foot on 14, the inside edge of the left foot. Into the approach now. Sliding right around 11, down at 5, out to 2, back to the 1-3 pocket. Didn't strike, but it left a 4-pin. At least it was in the 1-3 pocket. Remember the formula. Touchdown point plus the 6 boards plus the head belly tells you where to stand. We'll see you again next week from Detroit, Michigan, where we'll have another average builder. And if you have trouble lining up in the meantime, be sure and see your local PBA pro.
Final score, game number 1, and a good one. 225 to 203. Walter Ray had a chance, if he struck in the 10th, to win the opening match. Couldn't quite pull it off, so Randy Pedersen advances. Let's take a look at the rest of the top 24. Butch Soper was in the finals till the last game, and Brian LeClaire also had a nice week.
And Harry Sullen's second last week, and Brian Berg made a run in it.
Number 10, George Branham III, and Roger Bowker, who always has success here, was 11th.
And Mike Shady, winner earlier this year. Philip Ringener right in the middle of the pack.
14th position, Pete McCordick, one of the real vets out here, and Rich Abood, who made the show last week.
And the great Mark Roth and Danny Wiseman, a consistent finalist.
18th this week in Rochester. Guppy Troop back out on the tour, and Dave Watka, one of the real good young players, was 19th.
And Mark McLean, local favorite here, and former Rookie of the Year, Ryan Schaefer.
22nd place, Tony Walton from Washington, D.C., and Mark Thayer was 23rd.
And speaking of overcoming injuries, Mark Baker back on the tour, and Tom Baker was the alternate this week.
When we come back to Marcel's Olympic Bowl in Rochester, New York, Randy Pedersen, Amleto Monacelli. The last time they bowled together, Randy Pedersen beat him and then went on to win the Quaker State Open.
Nothing beats a winning team. Pushing hard, reaching for that dream. You got the heart, you got the soul. Can't stop now, gotta rock and roll. Nothing beats our best Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud. When the races run, we'll be #1. Nothing beats a Bud.
You know what time it is.
I love this place.
Come here. Right here is Dinner Basket Central. What are my options?
What would you like in it? French fry or potato?
Baked potato.
Coleslaw or salad?
Salad.
I think you have a seat. We'll bring it right up to you.
Dinner baskets? It's about that time.
Chicken, steak, Whopper, shrimp.
Just coming in with the basket. All right. Does that work for you?
Works for me. It's good.
It's your way, right away.
I love this place.
Me too.
They already know how much you make and what you spend it on. They know your court appearances and your business dealings. They know your health history, your marital history, your credit history. Next, they'll invite themselves into your bedroom. Then again, maybe they already have. Somebody's watching. If it's important to you, you'll find it in time.
The puck drops here. National Hockey Night on ESPN. A devilish way to start your Halloween weekend. New Jersey's lethal defense strikes fear into the rest of the NHL. Can the Islanders overcome the nightmare? Find out Friday night live on ESPN National Hockey Night.
Ready to start match number 2. Amleto Monacelli will begin on lane 33, and this is a little out of the norm for Amleto.
Normally, Amleto likes to let his opponent start first and get 2 strikes on the board quickly, but he's been losing to Randy Pedersen lately on television, so he's going to try a different strategy.
Wants to come out of the gate humming, and hits the pocket, but leaves the 10 pin.
Amleto with maybe the most unusual style of a tremendously star bowler since Don Carter.
It's an interesting statement. Don Carter, the honoree at this year's Brunswick Memorial World Open.
And of course, he had one of the most unusual styles in his heyday of any star bowler.
Short backswing, accurate.
Deadly.
You could hit a penny at about 50 feet, probably 9 times out of 10. I probably could. Randy Pedersen wants to come out and get started quickly, and he does. Well, maybe Randy will be the one that'll put the double on the board.
Well, it's always the danger you face when you start the match first. But what you're saying to your opponent when you start the match first is, if I got to step up in the 10th frame and throw a double, I have confidence that I can do it.
Randy Pedersen, fresh from a 225-203 victory over Walter Ray Williams Jr. Soft 10 on the left-hand lane. Randy has had a history of, once he wins a game on television, of really getting loose and free, and he's pretty hard to handle once he gets into that mode.
Well, he's the type of person that likes to perform before a crowd. I mean, he likes being center stage. It just brings out the best in Randy Pedersen. Some people get tentative and apprehensive and kind of withdrawn. Boy, it does just the opposite with Randy. He just says, you know, it's like a little kid inside of him coming out and saying, boy, I love this.
And Amleto Monacelli, who has added about 8 pounds of muscle, primarily to his upper body, loads up here on lane 34 after a re-rack. Says it's really helped him tremendously. He's much stronger. A little too strong, perhaps, on that shot.
Well, Amleto's famous for throwing what we call the rollout shot, Dan. At about 55 feet, as we see this unusual style, pushes the ball, then has to run to catch up with it, opens it completely up at that point in time, snaps it back through with that lawnmower hand release. Now watch the ball straighten out at the end. Just didn't straighten out enough like it does sometimes.
An open for Monacelli in the second. Now he'll have to get started with a strike on lane 33. Left the soft 10 the first trip. Billy Oakes, number 2, and Marc McDowell, our number 1 qualifier, off waiting in the wings, practicing, preparing for their championship round appearances here in Rochester.
And Bill Oakes is really geared up for this. He's looking forward to it.
Desperately wanting to win his first title and get an opportunity to bowl in the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Amleto comes back with a strike, so that'll settle his nerves some, but he's going to have to double to climb back into the match.
And Randy Pedersen, who has not missed the pocket yet, he's had every ball in the 1-3 pocket.
Ball really came off his hand in a hurry. I had a chance to talk to Randy about his knee bend and how it was affected by the operation, and this was his response.
Well, I didn't think it was going to affect it. I thought I could get around it, but obviously that wasn't the case. I lost knee bend, I lost leverage, and then I picked up a lot of bad habits to correct, the loss of the knee bend. Fortunately, I saw a new doctor in Florida, and he put me on some new medication, and I've gotten about 50% of the knee bend back that I had lost, and it seems to be getting better each week. And the stronger my leg gets, the deeper my knee bend gets. So it's obviously getting a lot better.
6-pin at the last moment, tips out the 10, so Peterson comes back with a key double.
And he was pleased with this shot because he thought he was going to leave a 10-pin with it all the way. Watch the 6, then. Just clip the 10. Ooh, he just climbed out up there and says, here, go. That's his reaction.
Meanwhile, Amleto trying to string together a couple of strikes. Really pulled the cord on that shot. Leaves the 4-9. So he goes from the 4-10 to the 4-9 on successive shots.
And both shots looked like they could have chipped the 4-pin. They didn't look that high. Watch this ball snap through at the end. And it's going to roll out at the end, too. It straightens out and still leaves the 4-9. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Boy, I thought he had it. This match may be over in a hurry here, Dan. It just seems that Randy Pedersen has a psychological edge over Amleto.
Amleto Monacelli very subdued at this point in time. And sensing, I think you're right, that Randy does have an edge over him in the championship round, and he hasn't been able to break that jinx.
You know, you get things in your mind, and sometimes it's just hard to overcome, and makes you not perform right up to the level of ability that you have.
Another strike on the left-hand lane, but Amleto Monacelli is in desperate straits at this point in time.
And so far, between Randy Pedersen's two opponents, Walter Ray and Amleto, there's only been one strike on lane 34. Where he's having no trouble with this guy.
Well, he's got a wonderful reaction. He's playing, I think, the right angle at this point in time, at least for his game. Because you're right, he hasn't missed the pocket yet. Sends it out. That was probably the best shot of the night right there.
Well, to me, they all look pretty good, Dan. I'm telling you, he's just really in a groove. He's just making quality shots time after time.
Wants a re-rack on the left-hand lane, and while we've got a moment, we'll talk about the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour Hammer Midwest Open, which comes your way on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time from the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois, which is the home of the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Carol Norman, the defending champion. Carol won last week in Pittsburgh, so who knows? Maybe she'll go back and defend over there in the state of Illinois.
Lady on a hot streak.
Ooh, won all 4 matches last week. All the way up the ladder. Randy Pedersen may end up duplicating that performance tonight, Mike Durbin, as he comes up with another strike. So, Peterson in control here in match number 2, as you see this year's title leader.
You're about to see the power of subliminal advertising.
Wow!
Now, can you name bowling's hookingest and bashingest new ball? It's the new Rhino Pro. 100% urethane in a conventional 2-piece design. Only at your local pro shop.
The tingle feels like it's taking away the dandruff. That's me taking the Denorex shampoo test. I love that tingle. It convinced me to switch from Head & Shoulders to Denorex.
Denorex with conditioners. The dandruff shampoo you can feel working.
I'm a Denorex guy now.
At stake, the Tour's leading money winner title, the Player of the Year award, and $2 million cash. The season-ending Tour Championship from historic Pinehurst Country Club, Thursday and Friday on ESPN.
It's now or never for Amleto Monacelli.
We're almost into the point that if you can do it with a pencil, you can do it with a bowling ball. If he takes it out the sheet, it's 233. I don't think that'll be enough. This is the lane he picked to finish on, Dan, and he hasn't got a mark on it yet.
Last shot was a beauty, but he left the 4-9. Let's see if he adjusts. Gives it a lot of room. Amleto looking for some respectability. Did you see that extra long gaze at lane 34?
And he's amazing in his speed control. He zipped the speed up with this a little bit, and look how much that ball hooks right at the last 10 feet. Just the way I always used to throw it. In my dream.
Mike, you couldn't throw that much hook in a game.
Maybe a
10
week.
shots, I'm talking. Johnny Petraglia, our official statistician, enjoyed that last comment.
Chuckling back there. I can hear him laughing, yes.
Amleto looking to put something together here, and it comes back. So the crowd's behind Amleto Monacelli. Unfortunately, Randy Pedersen is in front of him.
It's a big obstacle, too.
Yeah.
See if this changes the way Randy throws the ball. I mean, he knows that Amleto can take it out the sheet. This guy throws a lot of strikes.
Peterson loads up, lets it rip, and throws another strike. It's a 5-bagger.
Danny, he threw that 2 to 3 boards further right, and it just finished up flush in the 1-3 pocket. What a reaction he has on that right lane. Now he's playing with his wrist mat, trying to get a thread off of it. His wrist support.
Better watch out. He's fiddling with the shot clock at this point in time. That's something you need to address in between.
He really is. The shot clock is 25 seconds from the time the ball comes back for him to be able to pick it up to start his delivery.
Just got it off in time.
Boy, his concentration got distracted with the thread, and he wound up with a hole. I mean, forget about that thread. Who cares about it? He should have his mind on what he's doing here. Now, he suddenly put Amleto back in this match.
In a big way.
In a big way, because this 6 and 8 out is going to bring the count down to about even.
Try and bounce it out.
Oh, 6 and 6 out. Man, he just fell apart that frame then. What a difference one frame can make in this sport. I mean, 6 and 6 out, that was expensive. That cost him 4 pins.
Amleto working on a 3-bagger and desperately needs to continue the string.
He went from shooting in the 230s down to 218 pace. If Amleto gets this, he's right back in the match.
In room! Monacelli storming back here on lanes 33 and 34.
Boy, this would be the all-time comeback, I mean to tell you. He really sends this one wide. Oh, out to the edge. No rollout on that shot.
Eyes transfixed on the pocket, a little blink there, and now he's thinking 5-bagger here in the ninth.
This cuts it down under 10 pins. And sets him up for the 10th pin. He hasn't missed this lane.
Oh, he pulls the cord. It's tight. And Amleto yanked it and wasn't happy at all with that performance.
No, not at all. Because now he has to hope that Randy Pedersen opens again to have a chance to win this match. He had to have this strike down. He just did not give it the room, didn't make the shot he wanted to make, and he knew it. The eyes tell the story, and the grimace.
He doesn't react very often negatively, but he sure did there. He did not like that throw. Amleto could still shoot 211.
Randy has to open for him to have a chance.
Back to normalcy for Randy Pedersen on the right-hand lane, and thus far now in the better part of 2 games, he's missed the pocket just once. That was the big 4 on the left-hand lane the last trip.
Yeah, he's had 1 fall-asleep frame.
And it's meant to be sometimes. Amleto was stroking his way back into the match, had a golden opportunity to really apply the heat, and then threw his worst shot of the match, I think, in the 9th frame.
Right.
To lock it up.
That does it.
Nicely done. Peterson, with a momentary mental lapse in the 8th frame, comes back nicely, corrects the mistake. Yes.
Becky says, this is getting nice, you know.
I'm having fun here.
Yes.
Flew in from Southern California to be with her husband on the telecast. All Amleto can think about is lost opportunity.
Well, you have a chance, but if Randy would have struck out anyway, it wouldn't have made any difference, but you'll never know whether he would or wouldn't have if Amleto had struck in the 9th frame. So he's going to wind up with a 5-bagger and a 4-bagger in this game and shoot 230.
What happens when you have a donut in the 8th?
And 6 and 6 out doesn't help the score.
Big 6, nothing to go with it. Amleto Monacelli, a fourth-place finish this week. And it'll be on to Taylor Lane in Taylor, Michigan for next week's tournament. Randy Pedersen continues to roll on here in Rochester, New York. His next opponent has never won, Billy Oakes, and Bill Oakes is looking for his first title.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is a game like no other. It's a game that never stops rocking.
Sometimes love don't feel like it should be, baby.
And you can rock right along with pro football's best in this incredible new video, NFL Rocks. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to get to the heart of sports every week.
Rock and roll, baby, rock and roll!
Your free video is a game. It's a concert. It's a high-flying 44 minutes filled with unforgettable NFL action set to the music of some of rock's top artists, including Elton John, Bon Jovi, and John Mellencamp. Call this toll-free number now and let Sports Illustrated and NFL Films take you on a musical trip you'll never forget. Sit down and enjoy the halftime show, or stand up and shout. You can sing along, you can rock along, but don't miss a lick of one of the all-time great performances, an electrifying show of sight and sound that you'll enjoy again and again. It's all free from Sports Illustrated.
Let me get in the rhythm, all right?
Get your free video and 54 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. The free video and a year of SI make great gifts for the sports fans on your Christmas list. Call now to subscribe or renew or give SI as a gift and get this great video free. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Call now and enjoy the thrills of the NFL set to the music of the ages. And the nation's #1 sports weekly, Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Wednesday night, it's a must-win situation for Todd Kid Foster when he faces his Olympic teammate Kelsey Mr. Mix Banks. The battle begins on Top Rank Boxing Wednesday night at 9 Eastern, live on ESPN.
College football action coming your way on ESPN Thursday night. Southern Mississippi playing at East Carolina, and 7:45 is when they'll kick it. 4:45 for you folks out there on the West Coast. And, of course, coming up on Saturday, the Michigan Wolverines atop the standings in the Big Ten Conference will play at Purdue. Some are talking upset in that one. Starts at 12:30 on Saturday afternoon. Then a Big 8 battle. Both teams ranked #8 in the country, Colorado and Nebraska, Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then to top things off, the #1 ranked team in the nation, the Hurricanes of Miami, will host the West Virginia Mountaineers, 7:30 on Saturday night. A big triple header of CFA action live and direct on ESPN. Final score, match #2, Randy Pedersen with a fault, a double fault, if it, guess you could probably say, in the 8th frame when he opened up after having a big lead, but came back nicely, struck out and shot .237, defeating Amleto Monacelli. And now standing by with Mike Durbin, the man who has led the last 2 years here at Marcel's Olympic Bowl in Rochester, PBA President Marc McDowell.
Thank you, Danny. Mark led the tournament here last year, leading again this year. What is it about this center that you bowl so well?
I don't know. You know, there's 3 different sections we bowl in, and you have to make adjustments real quick. And I think the straighter you play, the better off you are across the house. So I think that's been an advantage to me. And I just bowl well here. The fans get behind me. I have a good time.
That's nice when the fans are behind you, isn't it?
Sure is. It feels like I'm home away from home, so it's nice.
Mark, let's talk about Bowler of the Year. You're obviously in contention. You're going to take the money lead no matter what happens tonight. What do you think that you need to do to win that honor?
Well, I just got to bowl well. I mean, there's 2 more tournaments after this one, so, you know, I don't know if one game's going to make a difference here or not. It'd sure be nice to win. I know that would be a bonus for me. So the voting, that's up to the players and the bowling writers. I just got to take care of what I have control of, and that's bowling. So that's all I'm worried about.
One last question. You're PBA president. You came in as the youngest president a couple years ago. What were your goals, and did they get achieved?
Well, I think so. You know, I don't know if you ever accomplish everything you set out to, but I've tried to open up the communication better with the players in the office and just improve conditions out here for the players. They're the ones that elected me, and I've tried to really serve them, and I think I've done okay at it.
I do, too. Good luck tonight, Mark.
Thanks, Mike.
We're going to be right back to see if Randy Pedersen can continue his hot bowling. He faces an obstacle from Texas in Bill Oakes. Don't go away.
In West Grove, they're talking about rising taxes. In Strasburg, about runaway health care costs. In Christiana, folks are concerned about the deficit. And in Coatesville, people are talking about the need for jobs. And Bob Walker is listening because he knows that leadership in Washington begins at home. And that's what makes Bob Walker the best friend a taxpayer ever had.
Winner of Ford's Distinguished Achievement Award and Central Pennsylvania's largest new Ford car and truck dealer, Carl Beasley Ford, sells more new Fords than any dealer in York, Lancaster, or Harrisburg. New 92s and now new 93 Ford Escorts, 2, 4, 5-door and wagons, all at one low price. For over 40 years, serving you with big savings, the best selection, and people who care. Certified technicians and the best service. We know Fords because we only sell Fords at Carl Beasley Ford, 1801 Whiteford Road in York.
Carol Stormin Norman defends her title against Lisa Wagner and a field of bowling legends at the Hammer Midwest Open. The pins start flying Sunday afternoon at 2:30 Eastern live on ESPN.
Two players who both shot 300 this week in Rochester now face each other in this semifinal.
And Bill Oakes, I think, is doing an intelligent thing by making Randy finish on the left lane. If he's had any trouble, it's been on that lane.
Had just one open, and it came there when he left the big four. Bill Oakes comes out steaming, throwing the heat from the bullpen.
Boy, what an alive crowd here. I mean, they were really into this match.
Sensational bowling fans here in Rochester, upper state New York. I mean, they've always had great bowling fans. Buffalo area, this whole...
Well, you know, Dan, this is where the PBA on ESPN started back in 1979, right here in Rochester, New York. And this young man from Spectator keeps walking around, and he walked right in on Randy again.
Randy wins. I'm sure they'll have a fun chat when this is over. If he doesn't, it is disturbing. Not much bothering Randy Pedersen right now. A strike for Peterson, and after the long layoff and not having gotten to the championship round, I asked him if perhaps his confidence was a bit shaken.
Oh, absolutely. This is something that I've waited for about the last year and a half to 2 years, and after being competitive, or somewhat competitive over the last 5 or 6 years, it's real hard to not be competitive out here, and you start doubting yourself, your ability, your confidence goes. And so, if nothing else, this week has been a real big confidence boost for me. And win or lose today, I've had a very successful week.
See that snap reaction? What happens? It gets the ball wide a little bit early, hooks too quick. Twice it's happened to him on lane 33. See, it's going left right now.
Would have been nice to be using our Brunswick bowler track to chart the course of those shots, but it's unavailable for us here this evening, and of course we're hopeful we'll have it next week at Taylor Lanes over in Taylor, Michigan.
Right now, all Bill Oakes can think of is that, boy, I want to take advantage of that opportunity that Randy has given me, because I know he's going to come back throwing more strikes.
Bill Oakes, 36 years old, from Lawton, Oklahoma. Pretty much a journeyman out here the last couple of years on the tour, looking for his first title. Not going to get it with that kind of a shot. Billy turned his back on that one. Now he looks back to realize that he's left with a baby split.
See, that's the fit shot right there. He just tried to fit it to the target. It's like a pitcher aiming the ball in baseball. He just wanted to get that double and take advantage of that open too bad. Didn't make the free swing. Of course, he doesn't have a free swing. I mean, he forces it all the way anyway, but just too much steer.
Trying to take advantage of the open, and nearly had one of his own. Gutsy shot there by Billy Oakes.
Well, that makes him feel a little better anyway. He's disappointed that he threw a poor first shot, but at least he got a spare out of it. 5 steps, no push away, head and shoulders forward, muscles it through at the end. Right there. Normally that elbow doesn't break with him that way. Normally he trusts the ball pretty well.
Set it down short. Oh, kept up the speed. Headpin never got back to the 10, and that's trouble. As the proprietor here at Marcel's Olympic Bowl, Marcel Fournier, looks on. Marcel probably lamenting that shot along with Billy Oakes.
Anytime you hit light in that pocket and leave two of them like that, 7 and the 10, all you can hope for is to fire at one, and he can fire and hope that it bounces out. Been done before.
Marcel Fournier, one of the real bright, progressive, aggressive, creative proprietors in the United States, has 9 bowling centers, I think about 260 lane beds here in the state of New York, and really works his tail off, and boy, paid off this week with a wonderful tournament.
Very good tournament this week. Right now, Randy Pedersen wants to get back on track. He's gotten a reprieve.
Right lane's been no problem, but that was set short and went left. He did not get through that shot and get it right to the target.
And much less speed, too. It was almost a lackadaisical shot, it seemed like. He was trying to get himself loose and just kind of freewheeled it, but the speed was just slow.
So after games of 225 and 237, Randy Pedersen finds himself with back-to-back opens in the second and the third.
Just never got the ball out on the lane or out to target the way he wanted to. Through the heart of the pins, he's got no breaks when he's hit the nose. That's 2 double pinnacles he's left.
Just a beautiful style, huh?
Yeah. Needs to pick up that speed.
And give it a little more room. Did this time. I think you're right. Maybe a little slow ball speed. Maybe just didn't. Well, you can see Randy saying to himself, my gosh, I got a great shot here. All I have to do is execute, and I can do nothing but throw strikes.
Bill right now had a good reaction in practice, too. I mean, these two guys were striking more than anybody else in practice that I saw. But he just hasn't made quality shots on this lane.
Time now to freewheel it a little bit. That's better. And leaves the soft 10.
Well, he's still in the match, though.
Billy Oakes with a PBA regional title has not yet won on the national tour. Closest opportunity was this summer in Green Bay, and unfortunately for Billy Oakes, after winning 3 matches, Mike Albee started with the first 10 against him in the title match and said, Bill, you're going to have to wait till next week.
Yeah, I want number 20 more than you want number 1.
I hear you. Spare up for Billy Oakes. Both players trying to jockey for position, maybe gain an upper hand to face the top seed, Marc McDowell. Only 2 weeks left. Next week, Taylor, Michigan. The week after that,
Brunswick Memorial World Open.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best tournaments of the year.
Major championship. That'll cap off the 1992 touring players schedule. More speed. Light hit shaker variety type strike, and Billy will take it.
But that was natural speed. He didn't force that one, Denny. Just his normal shot is to throw it hard, and he didn't try and reach back and throw that one a little bit harder. Randy's got to get his act together right now.
Well, that's the shot he's been making. Oh, now he's got it all as he trips out the 4.
He's carrying the ball, isn't he? He's moving deeper on every shot. It seems like the 2 goes to the wall and gets the 4. His reaction? Ooh, thank you.
I don't know that he has to move deeper. I think he's just got to throw the ball to the right. Target watch.
It just appears to me that he's getting deeper and deeper.
Strike here gives him a 10-pin lead. When you see him down on one knee, it normally means they need it, they like it, and they're going to get it. As we look at the leading averages on the PBA Tour here in 1992.
real wild one. Wild one.
When it comes to clean, fresh taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Stop! Stop, Bart!
Bud Light delivers.
I don't need some fancy aftershave to tell me I'm a man. And I don't need some expensive cologne to make time with the ladies. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great. It also cools my skin, tones it up, and takes care of it after a good close shave. I don't need anything more. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Skin Bracer Aftershave, more than a great scent.
By men.
Running behind in time, so we had to pull through, but Billy made quick work of this 2 frames.
He certainly did. Watch the 10 pin go late, and this is not the same shot or replay of it, but it might as well have been. Watch the 10. Just falls late.
Back to live action. Peterson with more room. See, that's the point I'm making. When he projects it a little further right, Mike, that's strike city. I mean,
with good speed, Dan.
All right.
With good speed.
Okay. Things are heating up a little bit here in Rochester.
4-bagger and 3-bagger, 7 straight strikes between the 2 players, and an even match with 3 frames to go, and Randy wants a re-rack. For the lead.
Uh-oh. Ooh, for a minute I thought that was a little left to target, but it was good speed, Mike Durbin.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I think he's got hold in there, Dan. I think he can move in. There's a little oil line there for him. He's looking at it. Is it going to hold pocket? Yes. Puts the pressure back on Oaks. Tremendous match here.
Billy Oaks down by 10, trying to even the score here in the 8th. And instead, the big 4.
Boy, we've seen that, what, 3 times tonight? The big 4? Twice by Peterson, once by Oaks. When the guys miss, it's cutting through the hard angle, the hard hook coming in. But that about ends this match.
When you do something like that, your stomach jumps right up into your throat. I talked to Billy about perhaps winning here this evening and cashing in with his first title.
I just, basically what I did in Green Bay is what I want to do tonight. I just want to go out and bowl the best I can, and I want to win, and that's what I come out here for. I didn't come out to finish 2nd or 3rd this week. I want to win, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do it. I have no control over what my opponent's going to do. I can just bowl my best game, and whatever happens is going to happen.
And if you talk to him after this is over, he'd probably tell you he didn't bowl his best game.
No, anytime you got 3 splits in one game, Dan, you know you didn't bowl your best game. The key shots he didn't make at the right time. The 2nd frame was a key shot. The 8th frame was a key shot. Both times he hit the nose.
Still trying to break through. As is another player out here, Phil Ringner. Both of these guys have been flirting with winning that first title. Quality players. They just haven't been able to get the right break at the right time to get that confidence or win a title match.
Mike Edwards is another one.
Oh, boy, you're not kidding. What a very fine player. Sooner or later, they'll break through him. When they do, watch out. And if you let this guy get loose, as I mentioned, he's dangerous. Marc McDowell knows that, too.
He came into tonight with a television record of 20-7. If he wins this, now it's 23-7. And again, he's the only one of the 5 that has a winning record on television. He's just making that better and better and better.
23-7. Those are Cy Young award-winning type numbers.
Yeah, right.
Randy still pitching strikes. Up by 38, trying to finish out the match. This time doesn't trip out the 4, but it doesn't make any difference. The way this one started, the comeback was really in jeopardy. But the way he finished, with renewed confidence, will put Randy Pedersen in the title match.
And Marc McDowell better come out striking.
Last year it was David Ozio who did a number on Marc McDowell on this pair of lanes, 235 to 160.
Wait.
Billy Oaks, third place, disappointment, but a nice week nonetheless. Randy Pedersen continues with another victory, 3 in a row. Will it be 4? Will it be his 9th title? Or will Marc McDowell become only the second 3-time winner this year? We'll be right back. What shot here, Mike?
Autumn, a time when trees cast new colors. A time for sharing warmth. And at McDonald's, we're doing just that. Sharing the warmth of our new oven-baked apple pies. A cinnamon-dusted crust with golden delicious apple filling. And now when you buy one, your local McDonald's donates 25 cents to Ronald McDonald Children's Charities, who bring warmth and hope to kids everywhere. Try our new baked apple pie. It's a delicious way to warm your heart.
It was 8 o'clock in there, right? Yeah. My truck wouldn't start. And the lights worked, but the engine wouldn't turn over. So I figured it must be the starter, right? Well, I went to AutoZone. They said, let's test it. Turns out it was okay. So we tested my battery and found out it just didn't have enough juice to crank it. Now get this. I didn't have to spend a dime, because they even charged my battery for free. Get out of here. That kind of service? Hey, you just can't beat it.
Everyone knows Contact wrote the book on cold medicine. Then they added this chapter, Contact Day and Night. On this page, yellow day caplets that knock out your cold symptoms without making you drowsy, so you can breathe easy and work all day long. On this page, blue night caplets that relieve your symptoms to let you rest. Both formulas control your cold symptoms with the right medicine at the right time. Contact Day and Night, another important chapter in cold relief.
Well, I do watch my figure.
She's a beautiful girl.
But fat-free cereal.
Fat-free cereal?
I'd rather eat regular cereal and just dance more.
She's a beautiful dancer.
Now this, crispy, simple, wonderful, probably loaded with fat.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes have always been fat-free.
Fat-free? Kellogg's Corn Flakes? You're not telling me the truth.
Is he bothering you?
Taste them again for the first time.
Championship Frame is brought to you by Midas. For mufflers, brakes, and shocks, nobody beats Midas. Nobody. And in game number 1, it was the most accurate player on the tour, needing a strike.
And he'd only had one strike on this lane the whole game. He had a finish on it. Had not missed the pocket until now. Didn't make his ace shot. Didn't strike. Didn't win.
Open in the 10th for Walter Ray, who was trying to move on to game number 2. The final score, 225 to 203. Randy Pedersen with a victory in match number 1. As we move on to game number 2, the key shot was a strike in the 10th frame for Randy Pedersen. It was a lockup shot.
He was working on a strike. It had a big lead until he got 6 and 6 out. Made the adjustment. Got the strike when he needed it. He's making the shots when he needed it.
Big game in game number 2 for Randy Pedersen. The largest pin total for him in the first 3 victories, 237 to 197 over Amleto Monacelli. Then it was, unfortunately, a tough shot for Billy Oaks.
Billy needed the strike here to even the match. And again, as the opponents against Randy Pedersen have been doing tonight, did not make the quality shot. Double pinnacle basically handed the match to Peterson.
Bill Oaks will have to wait for another day to win that first title. Randy Pedersen had a couple of opens, but came back nicely to win 225 to 182. When we return, Peterson, McDowell for the title here in Rochester.
The doctor's ready.
That cold pill.
Antihistamine. Sometimes they make you sleepy. Well, there aren't any in Advil Cold and Sinus. It's tough on a cold. Not on you.
Advil Cold and Sinus. Advanced formula for the cold season.
Get this close to the thrill of real life on the Discovery Channel. It's your world.
And that was dinner for our favorite food critic?
Everything was wonderful.
Something else to drink, monsieur.
Yes. Make it a Bud Light, please.
I'm sorry, monsieur. We have run out.
Really? Well, that does change things a bit, doesn't it?
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Billy's Chili. Quaint atmosphere.
Is that a tip or did you just lose some change?
Charming service.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is in your face. Two teams hungry for a win. November 8th, the Bengals and the Bears are
in your face.
Sunday Night NFL.
Just to show you that we don't spend all our time in the bowling center, we had a chance to play one of the most magnificent golf courses I've ever seen, Cobblestone Creek, right outside of Rochester.
Great course, way beyond my abilities, but you pulled me through.
Wait a minute, Durbin with a 2-putt, and who's this? Petraglia holding a 3-footer as well? Yes, and yeah, that gentleman looks pretty familiar. That's my brother, who just so happens to be the architect that designed Cobblestone Creek. Had a chance to play the last couple of days, had some fun, and we made a few birdies. Unfortunately, the architect forced us into a couple of bogeys as well.
I'll tell you what, we had fun, but Randy Pedersen's having fun right now as he just whizzes through these opponents.
Peterson trying to run the rack, move all the way up the ladder, much like Carol Norman did this past Sunday in Pittsburgh. It doesn't happen often, and it's not easy to do. Toughest break of the night right there. Flush hit, solid 9.
And he really wasn't surprised because he got it right too quick, and it snap hooked high in the pocket, left a solid 9.
Now, I guarantee you one thing, Marc McDowell's happy he didn't start with a strike. Don't forget, next week, Taylor Lanes, Taylor Open in Taylor, Michigan, live on Wednesday night at 7:30. I'm told they have a tremendous bowling surface there. Very smooth. Scores look to be high. So join us next Wednesday night as the PBA Tour runs its string here in the fall. Top seed with a little loft, aggressive shot. He comes out with a ringing 10-pin on 34.
Good shot, though. Good opening shot.
Aggressive shot.
Well, he's an aggressive young player, you know. But regardless of what he said in that interview, I think he needs to win tonight to have a shot at over here, or at least win one of these last 3 tournaments.
Dave Ferraro, Eric Forkel, Bob Vespi, Parker Bone, all watching this with great interest. What a race this year. There's some good players.
All the young lions of the tour, Dan. All the young lions.
They're just waiting.
Stands at the 12-foot line. Pushes it up. Now it swings it from the shoulder. Head is steady. Short next to the last step. Now the slide and comes close to that line. He has fouled 3 times this week. Left arm out for balance.
Fouled in practice tonight.
Right. Fouled twice in practice tonight. I don't know why he doesn't move back a couple inches, but I guess he feels comfortable where he's at. He says he needs to keep slow to keep from fouling. Personally, I would ensure I'd move back a couple inches.
His tendency, without question, is to get a little quick with the feet.
Yes.
Nice swing, good firm shot. And McDowell dices up the rack, jumps up in the air, and gets some hooting and hollering here in Rochester.
They are hooting and hollering, too, aren't they? Here's his reaction. Gives it the do-si-do.
Trying to gain the upper hand.
Is it the Madison 2-step there?
I think that'd be the Madison 2-step. Okay. Strong, powerful, loopy arm swing, and this one, well, for Randy Pedersen, runs high and he leaves the 3-6-10.
You know, it's like his concentration at the beginning of a game wanes. I really think that those shots are just lack of concentration of maintaining the speed and getting the ball on line.
I've asked you this a couple of times. On that shot, does he know that he didn't throw the ball as hard, or do you not feel that?
Sometimes you don't feel that. I think Randy knows it, though.
Well, if you were going to give someone a tip in this situation, how would you be able to maintain a consistent ball speed, as Frank Formicola, the tournament chairman, looks on.
It's mainly concentration then. It's keeping your mind on what you're doing, and thinking to keep that speed up. I know that in my experience, when my speed would wane, it would be under the pressure of the moment, and I wasn't thinking about keeping the speed up.
Beautiful shot. Didn't want to pass over Frank Formicola, who does a terrific job as the tournament chairman here. Our congratulations to him, and thanks for a great week.
One of the most distinctive voices you'll ever hear.
Yep. A lot of fun, too. He's not practicing out here. He works hard, but he likes to enjoy the tournament.
Which he does.
First chance to gain a leg up for Marc McDowell. Light hit, and this time it's McDowell who carries the half 10.
Great shot there, too. He swung that a little wider, and that ball came in hard and snapped that 10-pin out. He knows, though, that he needs to get ahead. He's watched Peterson throw strings of strikes in all 3 games ahead of time.
Randy Pedersen with games of 225, 237, and 225. All victories here tonight.
They need more than that to beat Marc McDowell.
Hitting the strike. So McDowell juicing up the ball on the left-hand lane, gets away with a light hit.
And suddenly now the pressure's been on Randy's opponents all night long. It switches to him. He's got a strike here now to keep the pressure on McDowell. To get back in this match, he must get this strike. Very little time.
Plenty of room.
Answers the call, doesn't he?
Responded like an 8-time champion. That was absolutely a beautiful shot in a highly pressurized situation.
But I think as important as that one was, this one's even more important because this one gets the match basically even. They're both on turkeys, you know. And there's been a lane that he's let up on. It's been this left lane. He needs to keep concentrating on extending and getting that speed, keeping the speed up.
Trying to hang in there. And Peterson can't carry the light hit. Little disappointment written all over his face.
Needed to get a break on that one. Got it wide. Came in light. Didn't get the 7-pin. Watch it. That hit will carry many times. Pins just didn't fall right.
Becky with some encouragement. He is far from out of it, but Marc McDowell could go a long way in helping the cause with a strike here.
What I like is that he's lined in on both lanes.
More loft, more speed. Oh, my. That was the shot of the top seed, Mike Durden.
Getting the ball further out of the lane than anybody tonight. Watch how far he gets that ball out there. Kind of bounces out there. Boom. And showing his vertical jump with the Madison's 2-step. 23 up can make it 33.
Marc McDowell doing his best to run away high from Randy Pedersen, and McDowell now has strung together 5 in a row.
The left lane is going a little straighter for him, and he's just stroking the ball on that lane, overcoming it with loft and speed on the right lane.
McDowell, the man on a mission, led this tournament a year ago, then shot 160 in the title match.
That's not happening this year.
He's got 160 now. Peterson trying to fight back. Another beautiful shot on lane 34, but Randy now must strike on 33, or it could be over early.
It could be. The thing is, you know, that these strikes send the message to your opponent that you're not out of it. That you can take it out the sheet. And if he does that, it's 257. Marc McDowell doesn't have that much yet. Wiped his nose. Do you see that?
Loose and free. Oh, 2-pin. Going to stand up. Not even close there. That was not an A shot.
I just don't understand that. I mean, you're up there concentrating, maybe the most important shot of the match, and you wipe your nose. I mean,
well, let me ask you this: how can you argue with 23 and 7?
You can't. You're right. Might be 23 and 8, though.
Possible. But I mean, those are huge, huge numbers in the championship round.
I guess it is. You know, last year, the bowler of the year won the Tournament of Champions, the Firestone Tournament of Champions, and this tournament, David Ozio.
He also won the AC Delco Classic, which Marc McDowell won this year.
That's right.
The only tournament the two did not win was in Las Vegas, where Ozio won. But Marc McDowell looking to win 3 out of 4 with 2 weeks to go. The other thing you have to consider, too, Mike Durbin, is the fact that Marc McDowell is 0-4 as a top seed. He's looking to get into the win column.
He's putting that to rest tonight, isn't he?
Keeps this thing going, he's liable to end up with 290.
And remember, he left a solid 10 the first ball.
Started with the first 10 in the position round last night, waved goodbye to the field. Now Marc McDowell with an exclamation point, trying to win his 3rd title of the year. Automatic on lane 34. I think, as well as we chatted last night, if he wins, would not Marc McDowell become the first active president to win on the PBA Tour during his reign?
Oh, no.
He's not?
Oh, no.
Okay.
In fact, there was a streak there when all of the presidents won. The pressure was on you when you were president to win.
That's what I thought. Pappas won as president. He won the Firestone, didn't he?
Pappas won as president. I managed to sneak in and win as president.
But we're talking about current history. Even Petraglia won as president?
Yes.
I got some bad information there.
And Ernie Schlegel won the first tournament after his presidency expired, so he counts it.
But Ernie's always been better late than never.
Well, if you say so.
Perhaps. He just wanted to make a point. He didn't want to take advantage of things while in office. Randy Pedersen could shoot 236. Marc McDowell has room for 290. He's throwing darts, and this one goes high, and he says, okay, I made a mistake. I'll take the 3-6-10.
Still needs a mark in the last 2 frames, so he's got to make this. If he misses this, he would force himself to mark in the 10th frame.
And he doesn't want to do that.
It's interesting how suddenly Randy threw the double, and your thinking gets defensive. What do I need now? Instead of aggressive like he was all the frames before.
Or was he too juiced up and just yanked it a little bit? Hop, skip, and a jump out of McDowell. Be still my heart. I can't take too much more of that. I think I'll go back to just hitting the pocket.
Plays it from his strike angle. Right about over the second arrow, out to the channel, and makes it. Basically any kind of count.
Any kind of count. That's what you want to do when you lock up a championship. Randy Pedersen up off the bench. And McDowell joins Parker Bone III as the only 3-time champions on the tour this year. Touches. One more, and it's 267. Tough to beat that.
Tough to beat that. No matter what Randy would have done. I mean, Randy has nothing to be ashamed of. takes it out the sheet for 236. That wins most games.
Never happy unless you win, but a long way back for Randy Pedersen. And a fitting in from the champion of the Rochester Open, Marc McDowell. He led last year and was so disappointed in defeat. This year, he's the man of the hour.
Very popular victory here.
We'll have plenty of time to talk to our newest champion, Marc McDowell, who at this point is still in shock. What a game. Came out, left a solid 10 through the next 7 in a row, and then finished it off with 3 in a row.
Well, all of Randy's opponents before in the key situations made the bad shot. Marc McDowell made no bad shots except for the 9th frame when he basically was had an almost insurmountable lead.
Randy Pedersen with 3 victories. He'll be 3-1 on the evening. He said, no matter where I finish tonight, I'm going to be happy with it. He bowled just absolutely beautifully in a second-place effort. We'll be back to Marcel's Olympic Bowl to talk with Marc McDowell right after these messages.
This is a game like no other. It's a game that never stops rocking. And you can rock right along with pro football's best in this incredible new video, NFL Rocks. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the best way to get to the heart of sports every week. Your free video is a game. It's a concert. It's a high-flying 44 minutes filled with unforgettable NFL action set to the music of some of rock's top artists, including Elton John, Bon Jovi, and John Mellencamp. Call this toll-free number now and let Sports Illustrated and NFL Films take you on a musical trip you'll never forget. Sit down and enjoy the halftime show, or stand up and shout. You can sing along, you can rock along, but don't miss a lick of one of the all-time great performances, an electrifying show of sight and sound that you'll enjoy again and again. It's all free from Sports Illustrated.
Let me get in the rhythm, all right?
Get your free video and 54 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. The free video and a year of SI make great gifts for the sports fans on your Christmas list. Call now to subscribe or renew, or give SI as a gift and get this great video free. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Call now and enjoy the thrills of the NFL set to the music of the ages. And the nation's #1 sports weekly, Sports Illustrated. Call now.
McDowell, the final score, a big 267 game. You started solid 10, and then you went with a 7-bagger, so you really ended it early tonight.
I didn't even want to look up. I just wanted to keep throwing strikes and then have somebody tap me on the shoulder and say it's over. You know, you won. I'm 107 pins better than last year here, and it feels great. I came back.
From 160 to 267. Not bad. Frank Formicola, you have the trophy for him, Mr. McDowell.
Mark, great week. You couldn't lose. I had you in the pool. You're wearing lilac. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Everybody here in Rochester has just been tremendous. I've got my own little cheering section. The greatest fans around. Frank, Marcel, everybody, you guys are great. You run a great tournament. Joanne, thank you.
And Marcel also has a rather large check to present as well.
$23,000, but it just doesn't touch the great things you've done for bowling in Rochester this week, and we congratulate you. Lit them up all week, and we're glad you're here, and we'll hope you're back next year to defend.
Thank you, Marcel. Thank you. Well, this is just incredible. I came in. I love bowling here, obviously. I bowled great last year, and Marcel and Joanne, they do so much for bowling, not just professional bowling, but the whole sport. And it's just such an honor to come into Rochester and win a quality tournament like this. Thank you very much.
One quick question for you. Coming into this one tonight, you were 0-4 from the top seed position. You had not yet won. You stormed out there tonight. A difference in strategy for you this evening?
No, I don't know. You know, I just felt like the law of averages were due to turn for me, you know. I don't know, a year older, a year wiser. I've learned some things. I think I'm a lot better player under pressure, and I just was determined to go out and get it done this year. You know, I've lost some games where I've bowled bad, I've made bad decisions, I've lost some tough ones, and I guess it was my time. You knock on the door enough, it's bound to open sooner or later, so tonight was my night.
All right, we'll come back and chat further with Marc McDowell, the winner of this year's Rochester Open, right after these commercial messages.
It's some things that have changed for the better, and some things that haven't changed at all. It's getting something back again you thought you might be losing. It's everyone for one another instead of everyone for himself. It's finding something in yourself you never knew you had. Bowling at BPAA centers, it's a whole lot more than a game.
Clearview Lanes in Mount Joy.
When I entered this Senate race, I knew the professional politicians would dig through my past to look for dirt. So far, they've attacked me on my taxes, and now they're trying to distort my stand on Social Security. But the National Council of Senior Citizens has endorsed me in this race because they know I'm committed to protecting the interests of Pennsylvania's senior citizens. I think Pennsylvanians want real economic change, new job creation, and universal health care, not negative campaigning from career politicians.
Ordinary town somewhere in America. Over 6,000 movies played here last year. Every session of the U.S. Congress was held here. So were 350 Major League Baseball games. Eric Clapton played guitar in the bar on the corner. And Steve Martin told jokes at the barbershop. Just an ordinary town with ordinary people who count on their local cable company to bring them home delivery of the world.
You take the world, I'll take Kevin Costner.
All right, Mike Durbin, a question for the president, Marc McDowell.
I got to ask you, Mark, now 3 titles. You're tied with Parker Bone. You're now the leading money winner. What do you think about Bowler of the Year?
Well, it's out there. We've got 2 big tournaments to go. The World Open looms large at the end of the year, so I feel like I'm bowling good. I want to keep this going and go on to the next 2 weeks. I think I'm in pretty good shape right now, but there's 2 tournaments to go and some tough bowlers out there. I got to say hi to my wife, Patty. I love you, babe. I wish you were here.
That's what she's saying right now.
Just won over the hearts of everybody here.
Mark, one other question. You are very much aware of Randy Pedersen's record on television. Now he's 23-8, by the way, in terms of wins and losses. And you had your hands full. You knew you had to get off to a quick start.
I sure did. Randy is so tough. And, you know, he's just biting at the bit to get back out here. And I was so happy to see him bowl well. Randy's such a great guy and a credit to our tour. I mean, we need him out here. So, yeah, I knew I had to get on him early. He's so tough in match play, and especially on the show. His record speaks for itself. So I feel fortunate.
All right, 3 titles for you now in 1992. You mentioned you have a couple of weeks left. Do you think you have a shot at either one of those?
Well, you know, I've bowled fairly well in Taylor. You know, I looked at our fall tour schedule, and I saw Rochester, and I said, that's my tournament there. You know, I mean, I didn't think, oh, I'm just going to go win it, but I knew I bowled well there, and I really came in confident, and, you know, it paid off. So we'll see what happens the next 2 weeks.
Mark, one more question. Since you've been president of the PBA, it seems like you're more at peace with yourself and a lot more confidence. It seems like you've matured. Has the presidency affected that?
I think definitely. It's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me, being elected president. It made me grow up and gave me a lot of confidence. All the players are behind me. They voted for me, and it's been the best thing ever.
So long, everybody, from Rochester. Next week, the PBA Tour will showcase Taylor Lanes, located in Taylor, Michigan, for, you guessed it, the $140,000 Taylor Lanes Open.
From Indiana State, 6'9", number 33,